Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome to week 2 of the official Smogon tournament. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize. I did week 2 like 2 weeks ago. But yeah, we were here. I wanted to get these out sooner. As you can see, you guys can't see it, but this was uploaded on February 15th, my replay. So this is from a while back. Yeah. Week 2 happened a while ago. Yeah, we're gonna go over this in the replay. So, week 2 versus Parpan21. As you can hopefully read by the title. Going into this, I watched my opponent's replays a little bit. I wanted to kind of get a feel for what my opponent was going to be using. Right, I always want to do that. So I'm not getting so I don't go into my games without any preparation. So I got some good information. I knew that he would like to use Scarflando, stuff like Shift Gear Magearna beforehand. So looking at this team here in front of you guys, I had an idea of what was gonna happen. So and looking at team preview, I knew it was Scarflando immediately. I knew it was Mega Metacham. I couldn't tell what type of Coco it was going to be. I thought it was. I thought defensive Finny because we wanted to keep rocks off the field. Something like a DD Knight with potential Z move and a Shift Gear Magearna, which I thought would be Therian Z. I really didn't know what to expect, but I looked at this team and I went, "Damn! I call my Mega-Latias." Absolutely destroys him. Golem doesn't necessarily need to do all that much in this game, which is very, very good. I also really like the fact that my Ferrothorn overall looks poised to just set up Stealth Rocks and put in some work. Even getting up T-Spikes versus my opponent is going to be great, especially if my Mega-Lati can't win. So what I decided to do is I decided to go with my Greninja. Now, a little backstory to this team. I built this team before, actually, I played my opponent. I wanted to build a team that I could play with round 1 of pretty much every tour and be happy with. So, and kind of gauge what my opponent might want to bring versus me. So, looking at it, I was like, I didn't remember it, but it was Hasty Greninja, not naive. I made a huge mistake there. And it wasn't a full physically defensive Zapdos. It was, I think, 32 defense investment with the rest in speed with the Timid Nature. To better check Hawlucha a little bit, but that's what I was playing with at the time. Spadef Ferrothorn, Spadef Toxapex, Choice Scarf, Alolan-Golem, and Mega-Latias. So, as I said, I'm going to lead off with my Greninja. He is going to lead off with his Metacham. So, looking at this lead, I know he's just going to Mega Evolve and Fake Out. And at the time, since I had totally forgotten that I was hasty, I thought this was going to do maybe 40%. Between 30-40%. So, it doing this, doing so much, really put me in a bad position. But I am also a Choice Scarf Greninja, so I decided I'm just going to go straight for the U-turn here. I see no reason not to. He's definitely going to switch. He doesn't want me to necessarily be an Ash-Greninja, so him switching in his Magearna made a lot of sense to me. I go into my Toxapex just knowing the fact that he's probably going to want to switch. No, let me rephrase that. I went to my Toxapex because if this is Shift Gear Magearna, he's got to have an electric type attack to hit me. And him just going for the Volt Switch just kind of confirms that he was AV, which makes a huge difference in this game. I wasn't expecting AV. I kind of expected, just by the look of it, to be kind of more hyper offensive. But it not being not more hyper offensive made me feel a lot better. So Emma is my Toxapex, and I'm going, alright, I get my layer of Toxic Spike up, which is great. And here I just decide to make the play, go to my Zapdos. He Zen Headbutts, and he gets paired, which is great, because now this means I can just click Roost, until he either gets parried or whatever. It really didn't matter. He's going to switch out here, go to his Landorus, as I'm just going to click Roost again. I want to be at full HP at the end of this turn. So what I decide to do here is switch out to my Ferrothorn as he sets up his Stealth Rocks, which is great for me because my team really isn't affected by Stealth Rocks. Like, quite frankly, it's not a big deal. And the fact that I know this isn't Choice Scarf Landorus makes a huge difference as well. So he's going to go for the U-turn, take some chip. As I get up my Stealth Rocks. Now, Stealth Rocks for him are even worse because Dragonite's going to be taking those. And if I can't set up with my Latias, I don't think Ice Beam would have KO'd Dragonite through multi-scale. So that would be, like, it's something else to consider as well. But he goes out to his Medicham. I decided that I'm going to go to my Toxapex here as he goes for the Fake Out. Here I decide that I'm going to stay in here. I banked on the Para. In hindsight, I really shouldn't have. It's not like it made a difference anyways, to be perfectly honest, because I know that my Greninja, everything on his team is food for my Choice Scarf Greninja. So I figured, you know what? If I get the second layer up, I get the second layer. If I don't, it's not a big deal. So my Toxapex goes down, and this is going to give me a free switch into my Greninja. And I just decided at this rate, I'm going to go for the U-turn. And U-turning is always my best play. It basically tells me that he's got to switch here because he can't really risk anything at this rate. So he brings in Magearna. He's taking a little bit more chip, and I decide that I'm going to go for game. I am going for game because I know that Ice Punch isn't going to be able to KO me, and I know the fact that he at +1 that Flurkin is not going to do that much. So I Mega Evolve. I go for the Calm Mind. He Volt switches. That's fine. It really didn't affect me at all. He goes up to his Coco. I'm like, alright. Coco's going to be taking some chip, which is good. Takes 24% upon entry. He Volt switches. Now, this is where it really confused me, because later on, it's revealed that he has Dazzling Gleam. Now, I get it. Now, hear me out. I get it in the sense that, oh, I have a switch into my Ferrothorn, or whatnot. Like, I didn't understand it because, to be perfectly honest, I know +1 Dazzling Gleam's not KOing me unless you're Specs. And even still, I mean, I have a Choice Scarf Greninja in the back that's still going to put in some work. I have a Zapdos that can wall this Magearna to hell and back. I know that my Ferrothorn can probably wall this Magearna to hell and back by clicking Leech Seed and getting some recovery off of that. So, I didn't necessarily understand it in that sense. But nonetheless, he decides that he's going to go to his Tapu Fini. Now, here I'm like, alright, this boy is you know, going to click Haze or going to click Defog or whatever. So I get on my Calm Mind here, and I just throw off what was a Thunderbolt. And man's Scarf Fini goes for the Ice Beam Freeze. Thankfully, he doesn't get it, but he loses his Fini, which is great for me. He goes up to Mag. Now, he's going to make some questionable plays as he decides that he wants to go for Iron Head over Fleur Cannon. I really don't understand that. And all this is going to lead to is me just continually setting up, clicking Recover as he continues to click Iron Head. I don't know why my opponent doesn't try and go for the Fleur Cannon crit, quite frankly. As it's not this turn. I believe it's next turn that he goes for the Fleur Cannon crit here. No, he still doesn't. Never mind. I lied. I go for a recover here just in case he did end up critting me or whatever. And I think I just decide to keep setting up because there's no point. And now he goes for the Fleur Cannon crit. And I just don't understand why you wouldn't try and make that happen beforehand. But nonetheless, I KO the Magearna. I KO the Landorus, which is great. He goes up to Medicham. I KO that with a Thunderbolt. He goes up to Knight. I click Ice Beam, I KO it, and then he's going to go to his Coco, and I believe I just click Ice... Do I click Ice Beam or Thunderbolt? I think I made the power play and just went for Thunderbolt. But see, here he goes for Dazzling Gleam. I don't understand that, especially since it looks like it's Specs. I mean, wouldn't you have... I don't know why you wouldn't have tried to maybe go for it sooner, or like to have gone for it, what was it, turn like 15? 13? Like, I don't understand that. I get it in the sense that, okay, maybe, like, for whatever reason, maybe you thought I was going to switch maybe out into my Ferrothorn or something like that. I don't know. I just don't agree with that, because I think that you should always go for the smartest play in that scenario, and the smartest play for him would have 100% been to go for the Dazzling Gleam. Because at that point, I'm still setting up, right? So, nonetheless, he would have gotten the KO no matter what. So that was game number 1, and I felt very, very good getting the 5-0 against my opponent. So, going into game 2, I go with a team that I feel very, very comfortable with. And that is my team that I got from one of PokeMD's Road to Top 10s. Or Road to Rank 1, sorry. And it is Specs Ash-Greninja with Ice Beam and Surf over Spikes and Hydro Pump. 4 attacks Mega-Mawile, a Therian-Tornadus, Spikes Ferrothorn, Spadef, Taunt, Tran, and a Stealth Rock Archomp. Nice Fizz Def Chomp. And looking at my opponent's team, I figured he'd bring something like a Volcarona against me, because because it definitely would have done very, very well versus my other team, versus my Mega-Latias team. Mind you, I did have a Choice Scarf Greninja. That's not the point, though. Even my Mega-Latias team would have still done really, really well versus this. Not the point, though. So, looking at this here, I decide that, you know what, I'm going to lead with my Garchomp, because Garchomp versus him is very, very expendable. And even looking at team preview, which, you know, I guess I'll talk about here, Corviknights Volcarona, Specs Gren, Scarf Lando, I assumed something like Spikes or Rocks Pharaoh, Defog on the Zapdos, and what I assumed to be Megatar. I didn't know what type of Megatar he would be, though. So, as I said, I'm going to lead with my Garchomp. And he goes with his Lando as a lead. He crits the HP Ice here, which sucks. I mean, luckily he didn't get the KO, but if he doesn't crit, I'm still sitting at a decent amount of HP, and I know I can at least keep this thing as a potential sack for later in the game, which I do. But I mean, it still could have potentially done a little bit more, like getting a Toxic off on something. So, brings out his Lando. He goes for the HP Ice. Or bring up my Ferrothorn, sorry. He goes for the HP Ice. So here I decide that, you know what? I'm just gonna, I believe I go for the switch into Heatran. And here I make an aggressive, here's a play that I 100% agree with, in my opinion. I go for a Toxic here. The reason why I go for the Toxic is, one, if he stays in with Zapdos, that boy is on a timer, and getting rid of Zapdos is very, very good for something like my potential Tornadus. For my Tornadus, potentially. So, I can tell he's Scarf Defog. He's going to go to his Ferrothorn here, as I'm going to get at my Stealth Rocks. And I'm pretty much sitting in a position where, as long as I'm getting damage off on this Ferrothorn, as long as he's KOing me, I'm happy, which he does. And this invites in my Heatran. Now, this is where my opponent makes a very questionable play in going into his Landorus. He doesn't know whether I'm Z-move yet. And like, if he knows that my Garchomp is Rocks, it's because he'll 100% be a Z-move Heatran. So, luckily here I go for the Magma Storm, and I hit, and his Lando goes down. Obviously, if I miss this, it makes it a little bit more difficult versus Volcarona. 100%. Right, and it also means that, you know, Gren's not taking that chip. Tyranitar's not going to take that chip, which kind of sucks. But, luckily here he goes out to his Greninja. I decide that I'm going to go to my Ferrothorn here to tank whatever attack, which ends up being a Hydro Pump. It doesn't really do anything. So here, I believe I go for the Leech Seed? No, I go to my Greninja. There we go. And I scare him out here, because I can just click Ice Beam at this rate and get a big KO. So what I'm actually going to do is go for the Ice Beam here. And again, at this point, I'm just making some safe plays, because if he for some reason stayed in with his Zapdos, I'd rather get that extra bit of chip off. Or rather get the KO, get my Ash form, and be able to beat his team a little bit more reliably. Goes out to his Ferrothorn. It's not a big deal for me, because I can go to my Heatran here. As he goes for the knockoff, gets rid of my leftovers, and at this rate, I just click Magma Storm again. because I know he can't sack his Ferrothorn, but pretty much if anything switches in, it's going to be taking a guaranteed 12%. And so he Mega Evolves into Mega Tyranitar. I go for the Earth Power here as he goes for Stone Edge. Now, I don't know whether he had Earthquake or not, but all I can tell you is this. I clicked Magma Storm. I don't, now, in all fairness, I don't know why, other than this, what I can think of in my thought process in the game, which I still don't understand. I could have clicked Earth Power and gotten the KO, and that would have been perfect. I mean, realistically, at whatever rate, even if this thing goes down, I can't. No. If I don't Earth Power here, what happens? If I Earth Power here, it kills this Tyranitar. He gets out his Greninja. I am forced to go to my Ferrothorn there. I would rather my Heatran go down. There we go. Right, so now this invites in my Greninja, which is amazing for me. I just click Surf because I don't want to overpredict. It's whatever. I get my Battle Bond, which is great. He's going to go to his Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn comes out, and I'm like, alright, I'm going to go to my Torn here. I'm in a very, very good position. He Power Whips, does decent chunk, but not enough. He's not expecting the Z move, the Fight Z move. I go for it. It's great. It dies. Out comes his Zapdos. I feel like I made this play perfectly. I click Taunt. It's great. He can't defog. This, ladies and gentlemen, is what I consider probably my biggest misplay of this game. I don't defog. Now you may be wondering, why would defogging make a difference? Let's just be real here. His Gren's at 88. I'm in my Battle Bond form. Spec Surf is going to be doing a lot of damage to it. This dies to a Spec Surf, let alone a Water Shuriken. So, I didn't evaluate that, and I just kind of thought, okay, well, I'm in a position where I can just click Surf, right? Nothing bad can really happen from me not clicking it. So, I get the confusion. If I got in the if he had hit himself in confusion, I'm in a much better position, because now I can just click something like a, like another Hurricane, and if I get the KO, it's really, really good for me. But I don't. I go to my Greninja here. Now let's keep this 58 in perspective here. I go for Surf because that's all I need to click here. Goes to the Gren. Not a big deal. I decide that I'm going to go to my Ferrothorn for 1 because I can take this on better. Goes out to his Volcarona now. Takes that 22, which is great. I get my seeds up. Perfect. He's taking that chip. And at this rate, too, by the way, a Water Shuriken would have destroyed him. Go to my Mawile, get cooked by a Fire Blast. That's fine. Whatever. Now I go to my Greninja. Let's keep this 45 in perspective here. I click Surf, get the KO. I'm in a good position. I'm in a very, very good spot. He goes out to his Gran, which is great. And I know this is going to 2-hit KO. It's fine. And done, done, done. Crit Dark Pulse. Now, I know for a fact that this would not have gotten the KO. The reason why I know that is because, for 1, Dark Pulse has a max of 44. I was at 45. I was at I think it was at 45.1. So the crit 100% mattered. And so we get to play a game of Does It Flinch? I go into my Ferrothorn. I'm sitting at a good amount of HP. I know this can whistle to a KO. And it doesn't flinch. I was literally sweating in place there, because if he flinched, I lost this game, and I'm forced into a game 3 where I don't know what my opponent is gonna try and bring versus me. I could assume maybe maybe the same team. I didn't want to go back to the first team. It's my Mega-Latias team, but I looked at this and I evaluated it in every way. And I thought, alright, going back to this turn. This is my big misplay because I know I probably shouldn't. In hindsight, I should have defogged. It means that my Greninja's not taking that extra chip to where a Dark Pulse flinch would matter. And that was my big misplay. If I defog, it sucks, but it's not a big deal. Because again, Gren comes out, clicks Surf like 5 times, and it wins. And that's pretty much it. Like, it sucks because I feel like I could have played that endgame a lot better. I also feel like here I could have maybe made the Mawile play and then just click like play rough or something like that, or Thunder Punch or something, and gotten myself in a much better position. But then again, if I had made the defog play, which I see in hindsight is just better, it would have changed this game entirely. It would have gone from what was a 1-0 to a 3-0 victory. Not that the numbers matter. It's just more of a, I feel like I could have done better. Thankfully, I ended up winning this game. I would have felt very, very bad and over-evaluated myself, and probably would have lost in Game 3, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, GG's to Parpan21. He played fairly well. I think he made some misplays, though. This game for sure going to Lando on a Magma Storm, despite the fact that, again, it could have easily been a Z move. And Torn could have easily been something like a Rocky Helmet plus Defog type of scenario. And even in Game 1, you know, clicking Iron Head way more times than they actually needed to, because I know they're Assault Vest, judging by the damage that my opponent had taken before. But once again, GG's to my opponent. Hope you guys enjoyed this tournament replay. If you did, leave a like on the video, as it does help the channel out a lot more than you think. Leave in the comment section down below how you guys thought I played, and subscribe for more Pokemon content coming to you guys in the future. I'm recording this on February 28th. This is the day after the Generation 8 reveal. Videos for that will be coming out as well. Some in-depth analyses, talks on the starters, some map talk, etc., etc. So, once again, hope you enjoyed. I'm going to get the heck out of here. Catch y'all later. Peace out.